Hi, here's this week's installment on how we're using Google Forms to make choose your own adventure lessons, where once we are given the curriculum, which can be in a variety of formats, either assignable or not assignable, or different readings or different links to videos. And as you can imagine, that gets very confusing regardless of what platform you're using, especially Google Classroom. So we use one form. We can then allow grade importing, which is wonderful, so students can get feedback directly through Google Classroom. And then we just use Google Forms to create the entire experience for students. We synthesize everything into one, which makes it amazing for differentiation as well as at-time instruction for choice and content. It's just wonderful. So we embed the instructions video throughout. There's a password that I say that they have to enter, so I know that they watched the video. Then we can force them to interact with housekeeping for grades, and then make them uh, check that they understand, as well as that they can take the assessment after they do the lesson. And this is linked as a final link after they press submit in the presentation note section of the form. Then they get to, again, it's so amazing to be able to use this for instructional text, and we can even keep inquiry and phenomenon-based instruction as well as probes to gauge where they're at this stage of the learning cycle. So even though they're remote, we can still capture those essential pieces of science instruction. Now we have the new Science Cafe. So imagine that what we are giving them is a snack of each topic, and they may choose with differentiated content to go into the next, to dive in a little bit deeper per topic instead of waiting for the optional extensions at the end. So in this case, they're just being introduced to it. And these are sections in Google Forms where once they've done this, then I just have the multiple choice part directing them right back to wherever they were at in the lesson. Next week, we're going to do the same thing, but for embedding Spanish instruction, which I'm really excited about. Then we can use that same function with multiple choice format to either have them agree, disagree, maybe check out more in the Science Cafe. And if, for instance, they get an answer incorrect, then you can have them repeat just the part, not the entire form. Notice I am saying part for students and sections for Google Forms, so that we keep the student language consistent for them, but we are indeed using section numbers internally in the Google form, which I will show you in just a moment. Oops, I need to change it, don't I? Then, so this lesson is getting a little more sophisticated, but we're really scaffolding the use of using checkboxes to scaffold and sequence. So if they are check all or check any, we vary that and then make sure that they understand that, so that they don't get in the habit of just checking everything, but that there might be more than one right answer too, which is really great for being able to add tips and information and context to scaffold their learning. Then they can, nah, I don't think I'll take the Snack Cafe for that. If you would like a copy of this Google form so that you can use the skeleton of it, just let me know. We're beginning to add instructional video for how to use the actual simulations, and these are great because you can really get into the content and start honing in their skills on how these scientific principles run our world. So science isn't just about experiments, it's trying to understand the principles that guide every single interaction in the universe. So it'd be kind of fun to emphasize that through this type of instruction. Then we can also check in with them on how they're doing. They have a lot going on, we understand that, and this form is designed for them to be able to come back as long as they press submit. So we've added that. We pretty much have a moniker now that at the end of every section they get to choose what they're going to do. Are they going to go into the Science Cafe and dive deeper? Are they going just to the next section? Or are they going to leave and then come back later? Looks like, so if they did want to go into the Science Cafe, they're going to see more more examples, more challenges, more videos. We've got a drag and drop in one of them. There's just all sorts of cool things that we've been able to add that are optional, but they're at that time. The optional extensions at the end are at the end. They're simply a list of cool things they can do. We can bring them to interactive reading through the explanation and elaborative portions of the 5E. We can check their learning at that time. There's answer feedback in here that they get after they press submit. And then we'll go ahead and, this is the drag and drop. This is really cool. I enjoy that one very much. Then continue on. So I'll show you what it looks like to do the multiple choice portion of the Choose Your Own Adventure. So sometimes I add things just for them to stop and read and check. There's nothing evaluative about it, but then we also want to pair that up with other choices that they get to make. So in question 22, for example, you would take a multiple choice part. That's the only part that this works for. Notice I'm saying part. That refers to this list over here, adding a question and then changing that question to this part type. Another part is import questions, adding title, adding image, adding video, and this is that magic button for using the Choose Your Own Adventure, add section. So all of these are different parts that I can add, and the part type is multiple choice. Then down here is where I press this hamburger button, this one, and it comes up with description, which is a wonderful tool for not clogging up the main part of the question, and then go to section based on answer. And then that's where you can say, okay, well, they're going to go to the next section. They're going to go to whatever the section number is. And you kind of need to watch your navigation and test for that. And you do that in the preview mode and have a friend of yours take it, but it's just wonderful. It creates so many positive experiences for staff. It checks all of our staff boxes for providing differentiation in a variety of ways, and kids like it. So once they get to the end, then they press submit. And here is under presentation, I've put the link for their task form, so that's what they see when they get their confirmation message. So they have to complete the classwork before they get the assessment, and that is here. So if you have any questions or you would like any of the raw information or tips on how you can make your curriculum super accessible for all your learners, then just give us a shout. Be happy to help. Thank you. Bye-bye.